First time I tried, I mean, what classifies a hard, like, I was maybe in like 7th grade.
Netflix's The Real Bling Ring is a 3-part Netflix series chronicling the story of a group of teenagers who made a name for themselves burgling celebrity homes in 2008 and 2009, stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars in merchandise from the homes of various Hollywood Hills celebrities. I'm Adam Andrews with Where Are They Now, and let's get into that. The Bling Ring was a group of 7 young adults apparently led by Rachel Lee and included Diana Timeo, Courtney Ames, Johnny Ajar, Roy Lopez Jr., and the 2 who will be featured in the upcoming Netflix documentary, and who we will be focusing on today, Alexis Haines, formerly Alexis Neers, and Nick Norgo, formerly Nick Prugo. But first, what actually went down here? Essentially, when Rachel Lee wanted to add to her wardrobe, or more cash was desired, a burglary would be planned. The group specifically targeted media figures known for their fashionable tastes and styles, and usually the targets were female celebrities whose sense of style Lee admired. They would find the houses of their targets using Google Maps and the website celebrityaddressaerial.com, and would then determine when the victims would be away by researching their schedules through websites including Facebook and Twitter. The group's first celebrity target in 2008 was none other than Paris Hilton. According to Nick Prugo, he and Rachel Lee asked themselves, who would leave a door unlocked? Who would leave a lot of money lying around? And with their combined brain power, they chose Paris Hilton because, as he claims, they figured she was dumb. On this first visit to Hilton's home, of which there were ultimately at least 5, Prugo and Lee went alone. They went up to the front door and rang the doorbell to see if anyone was there, and there was not. They discovered a key under the doormat, but then found out that that was actually not needed because the door was indeed unlocked like they thought it might be. Prugo and Lee and the other members of the group ended up burgling mostly designer clothing and money from Hilton's home. However, it was not until Roy Lopez Jr. single-handedly stole nearly $2 million in jewelry, clothing, cash, and other items from Hilton that she reported having been burgled. During the Hilton burglaries, the ring would partake in the old illicit substances which Prugo claims they found inside the residence. They would wear Hilton's clothes, and Prugo even discovered that he could fit into Hilton's footwear. The ring's next victim would be the home of TV personality, model, and actress Audrina Partridge on February 22, 2009, the night of that year's Academy Awards. The group got into her home in Hollywood Hills by entering an unlocked door, and they took jewelry, her passport, her laptop, and custom-fit jeans, ultimately coming to an estimated $43,000. Lee and Prugo were recorded on Partridge's surveillance videos, which Partridge uploaded to her website, but that didn't stop these super criminals as they went on to burgle actor Rachel Bilson's home 3 to 6 times during April and May of 2009, stealing around $130,000 to $300,000 of property. According to Prugo, Rachel Lee was so focused and relaxed during a burglary of Bilson's home on May 9th that Lee even used Bilson's bathroom. Because, you know, what's DNA evidence, I guess? The group got so many clothes and accessories from the Rachel Bilson burglaries that they even sold some of it at the Venice Beach boardwalk. Next up, the ring targeted Orlando Bloom's home on July 13th, 2009 because Lee wanted the lingerie of his girlfriend, Victoria's Secret model Miranda Kerr. Prugo, Neers, Lee, and Tamayo cut through a security fence and got inside. They stole a large amount of high fashion label clothing, Bloom's vintage Rolex watch collection, Louis Vuitton luggage, and artwork for Lee to decorate her dad's home with, which all in all totaled to nearly $500,000. Next on the list would be Brian Austin Green's home, which was targeted because, according to Prugo, Lee liked the clothes of his wife at the time, Megan Fox. While there, the group also found and took a weapon that belonged to Green, which police later found in the possession of Ajar. And last but not least, after Lee had moved into her father's house in Las Vegas in August of 2009, you know, the house she decided to decorate with the art she stole from Orlando Bloom's house, she decided to come back to California to steal from the home of Lindsay Lohan, who was at the time Lee's ultimate fashion icon and biggest conquest. On the 23rd of August, Lee, Prugo, and Tamayo ultimately stole around $130,000 worth of clothes and jewelry from Lohan's home in Hollywood Hills. Okay, so now you know what they did. Now who the heck are Alexis Haines / Nyers and Nicholas Prugo / Norgo? Since I've mentioned his name much more, let's start with Prugo, who it seems has been in the spotlight a quite bit more than anyone else. Prugo has shared his side of the story to Good Morning America in February of 2010, and he was even upset about not being cast as someone more, quote, Tom Cruise-esque in the 2013 Sofia Coppola film about the Bling Ring. Nicholas Frank Prugo originally set out to be a child actor, landing a small role in a 2003 TV quasi-documentary, but he stopped acting and transferred to Indian Hills High School after being expelled from Calabasas High School for excessive absences. This is where he and Rachel Lee met and became friends, bonding over their interest in fashion and social media, and she even introduced him to most of the other members of what would become the Bling Ring. After being accepted into their circle of friends, Prugo picked up an addiction problem and began stealing from his parents to support this. Now, the first home they burgled together happened in the summer after their 10th grade, when he claims that Lee suggested they burglarize the residence of someone they knew, whom Prugo knew to be out of town at the time. Prugo claims to have been reluctant but did not want to risk losing their friendship, but of course he would blame it on peer pressure. During that first burglary, they reportedly discovered $8,000 in cash hidden under a bed, which they split and went on a shopping spree with on Rodeo Drive. Prugo and Lee began checking the doors of expensive cars parked in their neighborhood to see if they were unlocked on an almost nightly basis. They would then take credit cards and go shopping the next day. After the burglaries, an anonymous person told the police that Nick had been responsible alongside Rachel Lee for the Lohan burglary in August 2009. Prugo was arrested and eventually confessed to the police. Now, the lead investigator on the case, Officer Brent Goodkin, actually told Vanity Fair, quote, "He confessed to crimes we didn't even know he committed yet." After the crimes were committed and the criminals caught, Prugo was sentenced to 2 years in state prison after pleading no contest to 3 counts of first-degree residential burglary. He was released from prison on probation after serving just 1 year. Recently, like the other Bling Ring members, Nick Prugo, now Norgo, has kept to himself since his brushes with the law for the most part, trying to move past his past with addiction and the mistakes he has made. Alexis Christine Haines, or Nyers, was born June 20th, 1991, and was a former television personality for the show Pretty Wild, which centered on the lives of Alexis, Tess Taylor, her younger biological sister Gabby Nyers, and their mother Andrea Arlington, who is a former Playboy model. Pretty Wild was supposed to focus on the modeling careers of Alexis and Tess as well as their LA party lifestyle. But shortly after filming the pilot episode, Alexis was arrested for her involvement in the Bling Ring robberies, and the show ended up chronicling her arrest, plea bargain, and jail time instead. Alexis claims to have been drunk during the burglary of Orlando Bloom's house and, quote, "not sure what was going on. I have also seen reports that she was actually intoxicated on a pretty heavy substance at the time, and it was reported that she had gone outside to vomit and then urinate in the bushes." But Nick Prugo recalled a different version of events, which he seemed to do in a lot of cases. Speaking of the robbery of Orlando Bloom's house, Prugo, now Norgo, said that Alexis was fully aware a burglary was taking place, and she is indeed seen walking into the Bloom's residence on security surveillance footage. The story changes depending on who in the Bling Ring you're talking to, which just adds to how annoying it is to all learn about. Orlando Bloom's robbery was not the only one Alexis was involved in, as a search of her house turned up a handbag belonging to Rachel Bilson and a necklace belonging to Lindsay Lohan. On May 10th, 2010, Haines pleaded no contest to felony charge of first-degree residential burglary of Orlando Bloom's home and was sentenced to 180 days in county jail, with 3 years probation and a fine of $600,000. Haines began her sentence in June 24th, 2010 and was released after serving just 1 month of a 6-month sentence. During the last 5 days of her sentence though, she was in a cell next to Lindsay Lohan, which is kind of like weirdly cosmically ironic, but the two never spoke, so it didn't really matter. After the airing of Pretty Wild, many unapproved images were released of Alexis and her co-star Tess Taylor on the website thedirty.com. Although lawyers requested that the images be taken down, images which portrayed the girls with various different illicit substances, blogger Nick Ritchie of the Dirty site declined to do so. In December 2010, while on probation for her involvement in the Bling Ring, Alexis checked into the SOBA Recovery Center in Malibu, California after she was sentenced to 1 year of rehab following an arrest, possession, and a fake Florida ID. Both were discovered when Nayers failed to check in with her probation officer and officers searched her residence. On December 8, 2011, Alexis participated in an episode of Nick Ritchie Radio where she admitted to being addicted to various substances during the filming of Pretty Wild, stating that when not filming she was living in a Best Western hotel and panhandling for money on the streets. Haines started school while in treatment in order to obtain her CASAC certification to become a licensed substance and alcohol counselor. In April 2012, Alexis married Evan Haines, a Canadian businessman, in Mexico. On April 24, 2013, Nayers gave birth to her first child, a girl, and she later gave birth to her second child, another girl. And that's all the info I have for you for today. Be sure to check out the Netflix docuseries for more and to see how strange these people really are. I've been Adam Andrews, this is Where Are They Now? Thanks for watching and stay safe out there.